Good morning, everyone. It is 9 a.m., 73 degrees here on Daybreak as we continue to stream through 9:30 this morning. And we have major breaking news that we are following from last night and into this morning. Big changes are underway for the Buffalo Public Schools. Superintendent Dr. Pascal Mubenga has resigned less than a year after taking the job. An interim superintendent is taking over today. Daybreak's Rob Hackford has more on the questions surrounding his resignation and what's next for the district.
Good morning. Dr. Ebony Prophet Bullock will serve as the interim superintendent for Buffalo Public Schools. She was immediately appointed by the school board at the same meeting that Mubenga announced his departure. This shocking announcement, as well as one that is shaking up the district. And now a specific reason for Mubenga's immediate departure was not provided by the district, and we do not know what the school board discussed in executive session. The only thing that was on the agenda for this meeting was a discussion to replace the North District School Board member, Cindy McCacken, who left just last month. Now, sources at the district telling Two on Your Side they were shocked by Mubenga's announcement, and they did not see this coming. The now former superintendent was about to mark 1 year at the district, and just last week he told us he was, quote, excited and optimistic. The Buffalo Teachers Federation, surprised by this, they were in the middle of contract negotiations when they got the news.
Totally blindsided by it. My phone started blowing up a short while ago, and I didn't see it coming. We had negotiations just this afternoon, and I had there was no inkling of anything. Everything was business as usual. Seemed like standard fare. I didn't get any kind of signs that anything was going to be announced. Certainly not news like this, so it's caught us all off guard.
The interim superintendent, Prophet Bullock, was serving as the district's chief accountability and information officer. Take from that what you will. She will now lead a district that has been through a lot in recent months. A rash of resignations, a sexual harassment investigation into a member of the Board of Education, and now the departure of their superintendent. Live and On Your Side in Buffalo, Rob Hackford, Channel 2 News.
The story we'll certainly be following today. Rob, thank you. We're also following some traffic issues this morning that are resolved now, but take a look at this scene earlier this morning. We're working to learn more about this crash that happened on the 219 North. That's where it runs parallel with the 90 East, right near the Ridge Road exit. It happened around 7 o'clock this morning, and it caused huge backups and delays. It is clear now, so this is, again, taped from earlier this morning, but it is clear. Traffic's back to normal. It was a 5-vehicle crash, and it backed up the 219 for miles, all the way to Mile Strip Road. We don't know how badly anyone was hurt, but we did see ambulances on scene, fire trucks, and other emergency vehicles. We'll update you when we learn more about that crash. In other education news this morning, the Buffalo Board of Education is reversing course on its plans to relocate a high school. There had been talks to move Leonardo da Vinci High School to the to Buff State University campus. An agreement had been on the table to move the school into Buckham Hall, and now the school board says the project has become too expensive. They originally thought in 2023 that it would cost about $28 million to make that move. But since then, that number has more than doubled to nearly $60 million. New this morning, we're working to find out what was happening here at the scene of the intersection of Michigan Avenue and Cherry Street. Lots of police officers and fire trucks around 11:30 last night. That was right near the entrance to the 33. We have reached out to city officials for more information, and we'll update you as soon as we learn more. A Buffalo deputy police commissioner is under scrutiny after video captured him shoving a woman to the ground while responding to a chaotic scene on Chippewa Saturday night. Buffalo police were trying to get things under control on Chippewa when Deputy Police Commissioner Craig Macy got involved. Take a look at the video. Buffalo 4K video captured this scene here and shared it with our newsroom. You can see a woman standing near Deputy Commissioner Macy before he shoved her to the ground. Right now, we don't know the context of what happened leading up to it. Councilman Mitch Nowakowski represents the entertainment district, and gave his response to this video that's circulating.
I have not been briefed on it, so the first time I did see it on social media was when you sent it. And as you know, I don't have the full context of everything, but I understand how stressful and chaotic those situations are. When I was reviewing, trying to go frame by frame, I'm trying to put it in context. And I've asked the administration for a briefing of the full totality of the matter. But I certainly don't want a response on Chippewa to escalate to a form of aggression where then it becomes not productive.
And in response to the video, Buffalo Police Commissioner Erica Shields called the footage of Deputy Commissioner Macy concerning. She says the department is gathering additional video and information to conduct a thorough review of the incident. And we have new information about the violence near Chippewa that night. That happened on Saturday night. We now know one teen was shot and another teen is facing felony charges. Officers responded to a parking lot right near Chippewa. It is a parking lot that is between Pearl Street and Franklin. This happened just before 2:30 Sunday morning. And you can see our cameras here from Channel 2 actually captured the gun on the ground in the area where officers were investigating. A 17-year-old boy was found nearby, shot in the back. He was taken to ECMC. We do not have an update on his condition. Police say they did recover 4 loaded handguns at the scene, including a ghost gun. They arrested 18-year-old Javon Johnson and charged him with assault, weapons possession, and reckless endangerment. In other news this morning, a former pastor and youth soccer coach pleaded guilty to serious crimes, including rape. John Camardo III pleaded guilty to charges of rape and criminal sexual acts against a child. The 47-year-old was previously listed as executive pastor of the chapel at Cross Point in Gettsville, and he was also a youth soccer coach in Amherst. According to the Erie County DA's office, Camardo engaged in sexual intercourse with a victim who was younger than 15 years old between April and May of 2024. He also allegedly engaged in 2 more acts of sexual conduct with the second victim, who is younger than 13 years old. Prosecutors say Camardo knew the victims. Temporary orders of protection were issued on their behalf. Right now, he remains behind bars without bail. He'll be sentenced in September. Camardo recently resigned from his position at the chapel, and leadership with the chapel said in a letter to its members that the DA's office confirmed Camardo's actions were not with children in its ministry or any of its other campuses. And the Amherst Soccer Association confirmed that Camardo worked with them as a coach and referee. The organization says it has removed him from any involvement with its soccer programs. Amherst Soccer also says it had no involvement in the investigation or had any knowledge of Camardo's actions prior to his arrest. It is 9:08 now on Daybreak, and in health news this morning, health departments across the country are tracking a rise in cases of cyclosporiasis. It's a foodborne illness caused by a parasite that infects the small intestine. There have been almost 400 cases in New York State, none reported here locally that we know of so far. NBC's Erica Edwards has more on the outbreak.
The search is on to find the source of a bug sending thousands of people running to the bathroom.
The cramping, the stomach pain, feels like someone is squeezing your insides.
Outbreaks of cyclosporiasis, a foodborne illness that causes intense diarrhea, now surpassing 3,000 cases according to an NBC News analysis of state health department data. The illness caused by a tiny parasite that can cling to fresh produce. But so far, no specific food has been identified as the source. Michigan is the epicenter, with almost 2,000 lab-confirmed cases.
What should people be doing? Should they stop eating fruits and vegetables?
Absolutely not. The safest way to protect yourself against cyclosporiasis is to wash it, peel it, and cook it.
31 states have reported cases, nearly 400 in New York, mostly clustered in New York City. Health officials there also dealing with an outbreak of Legionnaire's disease. 56 people sickened so far with the bacterial pneumonia that occurs when people breathe in tiny droplets of water contaminated with Legionella bacteria. Cooling towers in 31 buildings in the city's Upper East Side have tested positive for the bacteria, including the famed Guggenheim Museum, which says it took immediate steps for remediation. Officials still can't say for sure which of those buildings are causing the illnesses, but all have reportedly been disinfected. As investigations into both outbreaks continue, experts say getting tested is key. Antibiotics can treat both Legionnaire's disease and cyclosporiasis. Erica Edwards, NBC News.
All right. Again, there have been no reported cases here in Western New York, but we'll reach out to Erie County health officials to get the latest on that today. Lauren Maroney in for Patrick, and what a beautiful start to the morning. But if you need to do anything outside today, now is really the time to do it, right, Lauren?
Absolutely. Yeah, the dew points are still low. Those temperatures are still in the 70s. It feels really nice out there. Of course, both those temperatures and those dew points are going to be on the rise. But right now, I want to start with a wide view of the entire country. You notice we are quite dry for much of the country. You do see some showers over by California and Washington and Oregon, kind of making their way up north through Canada and then cycling, kind of making their way over toward Maine. And that is because of a pretty prominent ridge in the jet stream. So all of the storm systems are kind of riding that, whereas we are pretty dry and going to be pretty warm throughout much of the country. So all of those storm systems, you see, there's actually the threat for severe weather in areas like Maine and Vermont, New Hampshire, and way upstate in New York, but not here because we are to the south of that pretty prominent ridge in the jet stream. So everything is being guided away from us. But of course, not so much the heat. The National Weather Service has a heat risk map that they release for the potential for heat to be dangerous on any given day on a scale from 0 to 4, 3 being major risk and 4 being extreme. And you notice for Western New York for today, a lot of our area is in that red major risk. That's why we have those heat advisories for all of Western New York and northern Pennsylvania starting at 11 a.m. But if I advance the clock to tomorrow, you notice a lot of that red is out of our area. We're in the moderate orange, and then by Thursday, all of that kind of clears out of our area, and we're really not looking at anything with respect to that intense heat, just regular summer warmth. Current conditions right now, 77 degrees in Buffalo, a mix of sun and clouds. Those dew points starting to creep up a little bit, but still really comfortable in the 50s, and a bit of a southwesterly breeze that is also going to be kicking up as we head through the rest of the day. In fact, we're going to see gusts by the afternoon in that 30 to 35 mile an hour range, specifically in our northern counties like Niagara, Orleans, Erie, Genesee, even parts of northern Wyoming. We're going to see those gusty winds. And what that's going to do is help kick up those temperatures, but also those dew points, making for some pretty significant feels like temperatures or heat index values. As I advance the clock, keep your eye on that number in pink. That is going to be the feels like temperature, because already by 10 a.m., those air temperatures for a lot of us getting into the 80s, and we are starting to see a heat index already so early in the morning. Then by the time we get to the afternoon, around 1:30 p.m., those temperatures are going to start peaking, and those feels like temperatures getting into the 90s by peak heating of the day. A lot of us are going to be seeing those potentially dangerous feels like temperatures in those mid upper 90s, maybe even some spots briefly seeing some triple digit feels like temperatures. So if you are headed out today, you're going to want to take it easy. You're going to want to hydrate before you go out, and keep hydrating while you are outside, because if you're already feeling thirsty, you should have already been drinking. Thankfully, though, by the time we head into Wednesday, it will be a mild start because that humidity helps us keep a lot of that heat overnight. But by the time we get to the daytime, yes, very warm. But you notice those numbers in pink, those feels like temperatures are going to be very close to the air temperatures, because a lot of that humidity is going to get wiped away. So today, those dew points are going to be getting around the upper 60s, near 70. That's sticky, approaching kind of tropical, very uncomfortable. But already by tomorrow, those dew points are going to start heading down into the 60s. Still a little bit muggy, but more like regular summer mugginess, nothing too concerning. And then we really really do dry out by the end of the week, though by the weekend when we're tracking those showers and storms, that dew point will be headed back up. So today, we're looking at a high of about 88, similar on Wednesday, but again, with that reduced humidity, those feels like temperatures aren't going to be as bad for us here in Buffalo. For a general idea, it's going to be feeling like 96, but then Wednesday, 91, which is a lot closer to what that forecasted high is going to be. Thursday, again, things are trending down as well, but you notice all of those sun icons were staying dry. Taking a look at how much rain we're going to see through Friday, yeah, not much at all. Maybe an isolated sprinkle at worst, but we are really staying dry. And so much of that is thanks to that ridge of high pressure that is just driving all storm systems away from our area. So we're staying dry during the work week. And then it's by the weekend when we're finally going to see the return of those isolated showers and storms. I don't think the weekend is a washout by any stretch, but it is something we're going to continue to watch and fine tune the timing on for that forecast. And then heading into the start of next week, looks like temperatures will be moderating at least a little bit. That is a look at your forecast. Back to you, Melissa.
All right, Lauren, thank you, and stay with us. We'll have much more coming up right after the break. All right, welcome back, Josh Allen. How about that? We all love him here in Buffalo, but there's a lot of love for Josh Allen around the country as well. He has been ranked by the NFL and some of the people who know him best as #1 in the league. ESPN surveyed more than 70 NFL coaches and scouts and executives to rank the league's top quarterbacks. Bills QB Josh Allen came out on top. One NFL general manager called Allen the most singularly unstoppable player at the position when he's at his best. Allen is coming off a season with 39 total touchdowns and finished third in MVP voting. It was really close between him and Patrick Mahomes, of course, with the Chiefs. Mahomes actually had more #1 votes when it came to ranking them all, but because Josh had more #2s and #3s, it put him on top to be the #1 QB. Now they're going to go through and do other positions, ranking the wide receivers and the running backs and so on. But they started with the QBs, and it was great to see for the first time in these rankings, Josh Allen coming out on top. He also is a really wonderful person. I had someone just text me this morning a really sweet story about this little girl named Abby who has relapsed with her cancer treatment here locally. But when she was undergoing her cancer treatment the first time, Josh and Abby formed a really sweet relationship, and he gave her a bear and she gave him a bear, and so he named it Abby Bear. And he just wrote her the sweetest little card that said, "I heard about you, relapsing, and I'm thinking about you and praying for you, and I'm going to give Abby Bear an extra big hug tonight." It's the sweetest thing. So yes, Josh is great on the field, but he is the real deal off the field too, with what a sweet guy he is.
And I think that's such an important thing. Obviously, it's great that he's such a great, football player and, wins the Bills a lot of games or plays a big role, obviously, in that. But he's also, because of that, such a role model for young boys and young girls. So to see someone like that making such a big difference in his community and really caring and wanting to show people how he does think about them and wants to make a difference, that's huge.
Yeah, and he's always been great with the kids, but I think now as a first-time dad to a brand new dad.
To a girl.
Yes, so, oh my gosh, I'm sure that he's going to even have more of a connection with little kids. So great to see that he got, that acclaim from the ESPN polls, but yeah, we all know that he's a great guy on and off the field here in Western New York. Speaking of fields, a new summer basketball league for young girls in Western New York is now underway. Games will be held at Mizell Street Park on Monday evenings each week over the next month. The summer league is free for girls between the ages of 8 and 18 in Western New York, and this is all being organized by the Girls Sports Foundation and the Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame member Cecily Owens. And the friendly competition leads up to a championship game on August 24th. And Lauren, I'm putting you on the spot here. I love unpeeling the layers of you and learning more about you, as all of our viewers do. But you mentioned during a commercial break yesterday that your mom was a basketball coach.
Yeah, so I played like the rec league soccer, and so she was a very big basketball player growing up. She loves to tell the story of one time she was carried off the court by her team, I think because she was just such a star player.
Wow.
I guess I didn't quite inherit those skills, but I did play on a basketball team. But even though, I maybe wasn't that great, the only thing I really liked was shooting free throws, because I don't like people being in my space, and that's the whole thing when you're like actually playing basketball. Right. Everyone's trying to block you. I liked just kind of standing, and then I could shoot.
Okay.
So I wasn't really big on all that, but just, kind of playing a sports team. I was talking with Pete about this earlier. It's not so much about the sport, it's about kind of learning sportsmanship and working as a team and just kind of learning how to trust other people even.
Sure, and so that's great to see in Buffalo that these young girls will have that opportunity as well. And how were your free throw skills, by the way?
Really good. That was the one thing I was
You made your mom proud, huh?
Yeah.
All right, stay with us. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. We have all seen that viral video of the bison launching a man into the sky at Yellowstone. And now NBC's Camille Burnell has more on how he recounts that shocking incident.
Look out, a bison! Look out! For the first time overnight, Carl McDaniel is opening up about his now viral face-to-face encounter with a raging bison last Friday at Montana's Yellowstone National Park. The 65-year-old grandfather now recovering from a broken femur after the massive animal chased him around a camp before tossing him high into the air. McDaniel telling CNN, "We were about 100 yards away, and the bison was not aggressive, so they snapped a few photos and continued walking." Photographer Mike McLeod filmed the wild encounter.
They were doing everything right. They were respectful, and once the bison showed any agitation, they left, and they were just at the wrong time in the wrong place.
McDaniel says around that time, a truck drove by, and the driver honked his horn in what he believes was an apparent attempt to get the bison to move. And it worked. The sound agitated the bison, and it began running toward them. McDaniel telling CNN, "There was not a lot of time, so I told my grandson to run in one direction, and I went the other to try and draw him away." After chasing the pair around a wooded area, the hulking animal eventually caught up to McDaniel and sent him flying. McDaniel says he was on the ground and unable to move when something remarkable happened. "He was right on top of me. He could have stomped on me. He could have gored me. He could have done almost anything to take my life, and he did not do so." That's when the photographer says he immediately stopped filming and ran to help, yelling at the bison along with other Good Samaritans to scare it off.
I could see that bison was standing over him and was pumping his head, very aggressive and agitated, and I knew that somebody had to distract that thing.
McDaniel, who had surgery on Sunday, says he's grateful for all the people who helped and thankful it was not much worse.
Every time I see that video, I just gasp.
I know it almost doesn't feel real the way it's just very shocking to watch.
And everyone, as he was saying, did do the right thing. The gentleman and his grandson without agitating it, and the truck with beeping to try to get it to go away. And then, thank goodness, that photographer did stop recording to go help him. So everyone did the right thing, and thank God he's going to survive. And that the boy wasn't hurt either. But just a terrifying situation, and it just kind of makes you step back and appreciate these animals as well, and knowing that they are so dangerous and anything can happen. And so if you are traveling with your family and going to parks this summer, remember to keep your distance and respect the ferociousness of wild animals out there.
I know, I think it's so easy, you see a wild animal and it appears calm if it's minding its own business, but I mean, they're not used to interacting with people, and just anything can, set them off, and a situation can become very dangerous very quickly. So just always be on guard, because you never know what can happen.
Right. Now back here at home, lots of fun things happening in the next couple days. Just to remind you, the sights and sounds and of course the flavors of Italy are returning to Hurdle Avenue later this month, though. The Galbani Italian Heritage Festival is back next weekend. That's July 24th through the 26th. Lots of authentic food and live entertainment, traditions, bocce tournaments, family activities. It's all happening in North Buffalo.
The entertainment is just, second to none. The food, the families, the friends, everybody meets down on Hurdle Avenue, and everybody in Western New York is Italian for the weekend.
There's also going to be cooking demos, a pizza eating contest, and a cheese stacking competition, and grape stomping as well. And that's all happening again on Hurdle Avenue later this month. But before that, we've got Old Home Days in Williamsville. That begins today with the parade at 6:30. And then also there is at the end of this week, starting on Friday, is Canal Fest, which has changed locations this year, and that goes on for a week. There's the Caribbean, the Jamaican Festival that Chef Darian is running, and that's happening down at Larkinville on Saturday. And so it goes on and on and on with more festivals here in Western New York.
I feel like every single day has a different festival or, food festival.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, and it's very exciting.
Right, and Food Truck Tuesday tonight at Larkinville as well. So if you are going out and about, whether it be Old Home Days or Food Truck Tuesday, whatever you're doing outside, make sure you're drinking and staying cool.
Very warm today.
All right, bye everybody. Have a great day.